That's right.
Hello, Internet. The Morgan You Know Podcast Network presents Balls and Brew.
Let's light this candle. Good evening. Hello. Welcome to a live broadcast. If you're joining us live, if you're not joining us live, then it's just a podcast to you, and we appreciate you checking in. Either way, thanks for subscribing, liking, commenting, whatever way you choose to let the people know that you are checking out this podcast. We appreciate, because then that means more people might see it and listen. And that's the whole game. That's why we record it. That's why we put it out for you. Helping me light this candle this evening on Balls and Brew, our sports show, is the executive producer of this podcast, every other podcast on the network. Basically, we'd have nothing without this man, and we love him for it. He's James Thomas Jamriska. Jimmy, hello.
It takes till about 2:59 Central Time every single Sunday for me to say I love football. But guess what? I still love football.
It has been a streak of loving football for Jimmy. We are excited about that. A man who's had a streak of years on this planet that none of us can match. The old man down there in Bloomington. It's our guy, Chris King. Chris, hello.
What's up, fellas? I just like to say we are now in a world where Shooter Sanders is starting a football game. This is step one to my prediction at the beginning of the season that he will be prolific and end up earning Rookie of the Year honors, even though he's only going to be starting 7 weeks of the year.
Let's hope that you are right, because the Rookie of the Year he did not look like in fill-in duty at the end of that game last week, but a week's practice, who knows? Some man that might know, because he's our football handicapper. He studies the numbers. He's crunching things. He's got ref stats. He's got win probability. He's got luck stats. He's got whatever kind of stats you need. He's our guy, Josh Williams. Josh, hello.
What's up, boys? Had a rough 0-2 against the spread last week. The Niners outgained by over 200 yards, and I had absolutely zero shot of cashing zone of +3 there. So as far as the stats go, I feel like I ran a little bad there. And then in the other game, yes, I thought the turnover regression monster was going to go get the Bears, but J.J. McCarthy probably played worst first 3 quarters I've ever seen in my life out of any quarterback. And so, and yet the Vikings were still up by 1 with a minute to go. But I'm just going to enjoy the rest of this Bears season, because I know Jimmy can't wait to tell me he told me so.
We will get to football in just a second, but as always, we like to get warmed up. We like to give you a little bit of a window into maybe some of our non-sports thoughts, some of our non-sports desires, and we give the cold open question of the week. Jimmy, I will start with you, and it is a simple would you rather. Would you rather have a bit part in a beloved movie, or would you rather be involved in one way or another with a one-hit wonder music song?
Man, the irony of me being in a one-hit wonder music song, I think is just too much for me to pass up. I am a total movie buff. I would love to be in a movie, but I'm sorry. If I'm involved in anything musical, and I can say I was at one point in time, the talk of the music industry, that would give me stuff for the rest of my life. I'm going music.
Nice, Jimmy. I like it. As we have stated before, if you want some stone cold solid music opinions, you come to James Thomas Jamriska. So I'm not surprised to hear him go with that one. Williams, I'm going to come to you second and let Chris be the hammer. What do you got, Williams? Would you rather have a bit role in a movie, or would you rather be involved in a one-hit wonder song?
Yeah, this is tough, because I enjoy music probably more than movies, but I'm going to go with the bit part in a movie, because I feel like more people just, when they look back on something, they look back more on movies than they do on music, with like stuff like that, with bit parts rather than one-hit wonders. I could be wrong there, but as much as I love music, I will go with the bit part in a movie.
I like that, because let's say you got this bit part in the movie when you were a bit younger, right? You always have video evidence of a younger Adonis like you, right? In younger days, you can be all old and point back to that and say, see, look at this. Look at what I used to look like. I was that guy hanging out by the pool. Look at me. I was stacked. That wouldn't be me, perhaps, but maybe you, Williams, for your role in the movie. Chris,
Yeah.
Same question down to you. What do you got?
Okay, so I'm going to take this as right now, where we are in history now, would I rather be in a movie or have a one-hit wonder? I think I have to go movie. I think it would be funnier if I was part of a one-hit wonder, but with as easy as it is to get music out to the masses nowadays, Rod, I think even if you have a one-hit wonder, you are reaching less people with a one-hit wonder now than you would have been 25 years ago. I think now, if you want to be a bigger impact, that bit movie role where you have that quote that everyone's going to be saying for 25 years, 30 years down the road, that's what you want. So give me the bit role in the movie.
Bit role in the movie. I like it. Certainly. I'd see what I worry about with movies is, yeah, we have all these streaming things available now.
Okay, so Rod's the one that's out. Okay, I wasn't sure if Rod was out or it was me because my stuff's been messed up too. So I'm thinking Rod. Okay, what do we think Rod, Chris? What do you think Rod's going to say? Rod's got to say. You got to think he's got to say music, but then he's going to swerve and go movie.
Well,
I didn't.
I worked with Rod at a video store. I think maybe
Yes.
a couple of us have, right? So I would be inclined to say movie, but I do think that he probably enjoys music more now and would lend himself to want to have that one hit wonder. And it would be a yacht rock song that he'd want to have as his one hit wonder. So when he's doing his cabana lifestyle, he can always be playing his one hit wonder yacht rock song.
So he'd want a duet with like Eddie Vedder or something like that, just to get that taken care of. Hey Rod, welcome back. What do you want to do? You want to be a movie or a one-hit wonder? We were just taking bets. Williams lost.
I thought about this pragmatically, which is not surprising for me, right? And the way I see it, I have more future money making opportunities available to me if I am part of a one hit wonder song vis-a-vis licensing. Okay. We live in a streaming social media world where people are trying to stream songs there so you can quickly be revived, right, for a few days notice out of nowhere with a song that once existed, right? You got plays on Spotify, which aren't a lot of money, but it is constant royalties are coming in from those, right? Maybe you get picked up for a commercial, maybe you get picked up for a movie, maybe you get picked up for a random TV show. There's just so many different licensing opportunities down the road being involved in a one hit wonder song that is my choice.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what we thought you were going to go there for sure with the one-hit wonder song, Rod. Excellent work today.
Well, we just got to get warmed up because we're probably going to fight about a couple of things here when it comes to talking football. So I like us to start out on a good foot with the cold open question. So that's what it is. Our Colts were off last week. The Bears weren't off. And Williams, what do we say about the Bears every week? We do not apologize for victories. The boys got it done once again. Jimmy, what did you think of your Bears performance?
Ice cubes in his veins, Williams. Ice cubes in his veins. Cairo Santos had ice cubes in his foot on that one field goal that we wouldn't have been even in that situation. We would have been fine. If Cairo Santos missed that field goal and Jake Moody had just signed with the freaking whatever team he signed with, the Bears Nation would have blown a gasket. Glad he made it. Great win for the Bears. That defense, though, again, giving up like Patrick Mahomes-esque drives to J.J. McCarthy, who, by the way, Rod, not stepping on anything, he is my heel of the week because, I mean, even Justin Jefferson, which, by the way, there's no man that has more gold on him as a receiver than Justin Jefferson, I noticed. 16 to 30.
Do you think he really has that Lowe's bucket chain? Do you think he really wears that one Lowe's bucket chain that he wears in that commercial that runs during football every Sunday?
It's got to be there somewhere. He's got the grills going on instead of the mouth guards. I understand that, kind of the same principle. But those two interceptions by McCarthy, I thought he had more than two. It seemed like he had like 15. The two were really bad. Oh, yeah, there was a third one that should have happened, but the Bears hit each other. Whatever. Williams, you were wrong. I was right. Let's go.
You were. I'm like I said in the opening here. I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy it this season, man, because there's just they're kind of doing it with smoke and mirrors. I feel like, but I just want to keep on winning.
They're like
Apologize
number one
later.
in rushing, number one in defense. Like, how is this smoke and mirrors? I love it. They're number one in a lot of things.
They're not number one in defense. Maybe takeaways.
Not defense, takeaways. They're number one in giving up game-winning drives that aren't game-winning drives. I'll tell you that right now.
Yes. I don't really have much more to say other than let's just keep rolling and go Bears.
I want Rodgers to play. Williams, you want Rodgers to play this weekend?
I'm torn because there's some really smart.
You have no guts.
Yeah. There's some really smart handicappers that really like the Steelers this week. And so that is worrying me big time.
Is Jalen Warren out or is he in? What's up with Jalen Warren?
I'm not sure, but Rodgers 24-5 all time versus Chicago. Rodgers is going to play. I'm convinced of that. So, but
6.
If there's an AFC version of the Bears over the past 7-8 years, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, with their Tomlin voodoo, just overperforming. I don't know. This should be a really interesting game. And it's kind of, I wish that we could watch both games locally here. I don't know if we're going to get to this, Rod, but I'm pretty sure the Colts-Chiefs game is not on local TV because the Bears and Steelers are on CBS.
Whoa. Absolutely ridiculous. See, that's just, you know what? We're not going to sidetrack the show by me going off on that. Chris, I want to go to you on this, okay? Chris, what am I to do with Williams spending 2 years telling us how absolutely brilliant Ben Johnson is, saying that the Bears need Ben Johnson as their coach, and now the Bears have Ben Johnson as their coach, and they're doing well, and Williams tells us it's smoke and mirrors. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, didn't he basically want this exact situation? Now he has it, and he says it's smoke and mirrors? Are Bears fans just never going to be happy, Chris? What's happening here?
Maybe Williams is just a little bit of a realist. We've watched these games, all right? And yes, I do think Ben Johnson has been a help to Chicago. But like that win had nothing to do with Caleb, right? Like, let's not pretend that this should be counted as one of his game-winning drives for the Bears.
Didn't do anything. Caleb didn't do anything on the last drive. No, not at all. Nope. Yeah, you're right. Good job, bud. Or the drive before. No, he didn't do anything.
I love this. Jimmy's driving the Bears train this
Can't
year.
Can't we be happy for a damn change? Smoke and mirrors all day. Yeah, they're good. God.
Get him, Jimmy.
Listen,
Get him.
If you're a Bears fan, you should be happy. You should also want Aaron Rodgers to play either.
Yes, we should. We want to beat Aaron Rodgers.
No, you don't. You want to win the game because you want to stay ahead of the Packers. Because you probably can't beat the Packers.
If you're afraid of the carcass of Aaron Rodgers all trumped up on whatever monolysergic deals he's into these days, then you're not a real football team. All right. Don't be afraid of Aaron Rodgers. Well, I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I know that Aaron Rodgers isn't great at football, and you shouldn't be worried about him playing or not playing. It doesn't matter either way. The Bears are rolling. The Bears are a wagon. The Bears do not apologize for victories. I don't know how many more times we need to go over this.
I said mostly the smoke and mirrors is the defense is what I'm talking about. Ben Johnson gets an A for this year, and he has helped Caleb progress. I think Caleb has done an outstanding job of escaping pressure this year. When you watch that Giants game, he is elite at escaping pressure in the pocket now. So I give Ben Johnson credit for that. And like I said, I'm just going to be a fan here for the Bears the rest of the year. Let's just go.
Okay. All right. No, fine. Listen, I get it. You want to sit back from having to say one way or another about the Bears. You just want to ride the roller coaster and be a fan and go up and down. That's fine. That's fine. Chris, speaking of roller coasters, your Cowboys. They look like an absolute legit real football team on Monday night. Were you proud of your boys?
It really helps when you get to play the Raiders, right? even if you got a couple guys that like to go out late at night, spend some time on the strip, get a little discipline going. Like it's fun when you can play
Bonding.
a
It's team
defense
bonding.
that's almost as inept as your own defense. It really makes your offense look good. And thank God for Geno Smith having just an awful year to help Dallas look like a real defense, right? Like, thank you, Las Vegas. Thank you, Raiders.
Thank you, Pete Carroll. Pete, we love you. I think most football players that played for you love you, but it seems like it might be over for you, Pete. Sorry about that, my guy. But you know what? You've suffered the fate as excuse me, many a coach in Las Vegas. Jimmy, you gave us the heel there. Wait, no, actually, you know what? I want to touch on this real quick. Colts Chiefs, big time game. And of course, because Bears fans are the only people that live in South Bend, Mishawaka, there couldn't possibly be any Colts fans that live in South Bend, Mishawaka. So our local markets have to pick the Bears every time that they get the choice. That's fine, whatever. Let me ask you both of you this. Do you have any idea? Will I be able to then pull the game up on League Pass, or am I blacked out from that game on League Pass then? Or Sunday ticket, excuse me, not League Pass.
You shouldn't be blacked out because the game's in Kansas City, right? So it has to do with whether or not their home market has sold out that game.
All right, so I should be able to fire that game up even though it's not going to be on my local.
I think so.
All right, because I got to listen. I am late to the party here, but real quick before we get any further, I've got to say I have a 3-screen setup down here in the Morgan basement. All right, I now have NFL Sunday ticket on one of those with the 4-box, and then I have a game to the left and a game to the right, and I basically got 6 games going at one time, and I got the way down to dial up all the volumes when I need it. And we're just going back and forth between commercials. I mean, it's absolutely life changing. I used to think that the red zone was cool to have, like actually having all of the games to be able to go to and having a multi-box. That's way cooler. I'm enjoying the NFL Sunday ticket experience on Sundays these days. Jimmy, you gave us the heel. I suppose now we need the face.
So it was a tough week for faces, but I just want to shout out a guy we've mentioned a few times here, Jacoby Brissett. Let's go. Give him a little round of applause. It is the year of our Lord, Ben Johnson, 2025. He was 47 of 57 for 452 yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Yeah, they got demolished, but still, he threw the ball 57 times and completed 47 of them. As a Bears fan, I'm not used to seeing that many completions over a 3-week span, usually, let alone in one game. So, Jacoby Brissett, you are my face of the week.
Man, I totally thought that was going to be Jameis's stat line this week, and Jameis not quite he did not do those kind of numbers, so we didn't have to have the Jameis Winston celebration podcast. All right, so we got Jimmy's gimmick knocked out there with the face and heel of the week. Mr. Williams, it looks like you have somebody from a front office that's going to get scorned this week and not a coach. And Are You Serious?
Yeah. My Are You Serious play. Before that, on my failed Arizona prediction, I did throw out last week Greg Dortch. If you were in a pinch to start him in fantasy, he had 6 catches for like 60 yards and a touchdown. Let's go. That guy has something right last week. Are You Serious? This week goes to GM Terry Fontenot. If you guys are unfamiliar, if our listeners are unfamiliar, who in the world is Terry Fontenot? He's the GM for the Atlanta Falcons. Let me just go through this timeline here. Raheem Morris, 32 and 54 as a head coach in his career. In the last couple of years, Atlanta signed Kirk Cousins. You could have had Mike Vrabel at head coach. Instead, you hired Raheem Morris. You traded your first round pick away to the Rams. That's right. The Rams right now have a chance to be the overall 1 seed in the NFC and get a top 10 pick next year. So if you think if you think the Rams are going anywhere, you'd be wrong. We said at the time that trade is the only way that isn't a disaster is if Pierce and Walker, their 2 edge rushers that they took in the first round of this year's draft, were both studs and took the Falcons to the playoffs. That was the only way that trade was going to work. Now look at this organization. You put everything into that Monday night game like 5 weeks ago. You beat the Bills, but then since then, you proceed to lose 5 games in a row. You blew a 2-touchdown lead at home versus the Carolina Panthers. You let Bryce Young throw for over 400 yards against you. He had one game all year where he passed for over 200 yards. Your franchise quarterback has a torn ACL. Your number one wide receiver has a sprained PCL, and you don't have a 2026 first-round pick. You consistently underachieve every single year. I don't expect GM Terry Fontenot to be back next year. But, Rob, this is right up your alley here, I think. I have an idea for Arthur Blank. Arthur Blank, the same man who gives you massively discounted eats at Falcon home games. Remember us talking last year about you get a couple hot dogs, you get some nachos, you get some chicken tenders, chips and salsa, mozzarella sticks, all for some ridiculous like $18 or something. Arthur Blank, man of the people. He came through for the common folk. Now he has to come through for the football fan and all of us. Arthur Blank, here's how you bring relevance back to Atlanta. You bring back the coach that beat you a decade earlier in the Super Bowl. You bring back Bill Belichick, and you have him strictly focus on the defense. Before Chris shakes his head, strictly focus on the defense. He can hire whoever he wants on the defense. And then what do you do on offense? You bring in his buddy, Brian Daboll, as OC, who won 5 Super Bowl rings under Belichick as a wide receiver and tight end coach. Arthur Blank, you can be part of the Belichick and Daboll redemption tour, like how Oasis got back together and now they're touring the world. Everyone wrote them off. But now Arthur Blank, you could bring them back for the everyday NFL fan and take your team from the island of mediocrity to the island of relevancy in one short offseason. The move is yours, Arthur Blank.
Did Williams just go wrestling on us with the island of relevancy right there? That was incredible, Jimmy Jam. I love the wrestling shout out there at the end. I don't know about the football art of it, but I love the wrestling part. Jimmy Jam, what about you?
I'm not disappointed. I'm angry. Just to let you know, I am angry. Of all of the bad takes you've had about the Bears, this is the worst take I've ever heard in my... You want to bring Bill Belichick. Have you seen what he's been doing lately? You want to bring him to an NFL team with the situation he's in right now and just give him the reins. You know what? The new GM's going to win your next GM. Are you serious for doing that? Are you kidding me right now?
The defensive reins, and bring in Brian Daboll.
Bring in Brian Daboll as a coach.
Is Jordan Hudson DB's coach? Like, what does she do?
She's the new GM.
Scout? Well, Williams says he's only involved with the defense. So then
it can't get any worse for Atlanta. What are you talking? This is the best idea I've ever come up with.
I don't know if Bill Belichick is the answer. I really don't. I know that Chris definitely thinks Bill Belichick is the answer. Chris, I got to give you a chance here.
If Atlanta wants to continue this rise to mediocrity, then by all means get one of the worst head coaches ever that can't win without a Hall of Fame type quarterback. All right. Without Tom Brady, Belichick is nothing. He needed a Hall of Fame coach for him to win Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator back in New York. So like I don't think that's the move, but maybe Atlanta is a franchise that deserves a Bill Belichick.
Well, you could say this. If Bill Belichick gets a job as the Falcons DC or / head coach only in charge of the defense, I'm not entirely sure what position Williams was actually even calling for him to have there in Atlanta, but Pablo Torre will probably take up residency somewhere near Atlanta Stadium and be investigating all the time. So Falcons fans, get ready for that. Best podcast of the year and best podcast episode of the year. Pablo Torre, by the way, shout out. I'm not sure if we were up or nominated in that category, but you, the listeners out there, you guys could help us get us a few more of those, and maybe we'll be in the running next year.
Our dude wife
discussion
should have won.
Yeah, that dude wife's discussion definitely should have gotten us in the running. You're not wrong there, Jimmy. You know what discussion might get us in the running next year? Go ahead, Williams.
Would they not be relevant? The Falcons are not relevant. They would be relevant with Bill Belichick and Brian Daboll.
They'd be relevant how like the Kings are relevant in the NBA. You know, you don't want to be that type of relevant.
Hey, listen, stranger things have happened. Old guys get shots in the NFL, so maybe the Falcons, they thought about bringing him in before, and some other people talked him down, and those people might be fired now. So Williams, you could be onto something there. But you know what Chris is definitely onto, and what may get us nominated for a podcast award next year is the phenomenal Leatherhead segment. Chris, what do you got for us?
Gentlemen, we have a Leatherhead rookie edition this week. All right. Some young guys coming up and showing people how it's done. I'm going to give the shout out. I know Minnesota doesn't have a lot to be happy about this year, whether it's JJ or Nine at the helm of this offense. But I got to give it up to Donovan Jackson. He is the guard they drafted this year. This dude has one of the best PFF pass blocking grades in the NFL, let alone all rookies. This last week, for example, he just allowed one pressure on 33 pass blocking attempts. So good job, Donovan Jackson. But when I thought about this type of award, Rod, this guy nominated for the Leatherhead that won it this week is the type of person I was thinking about. All right. A guy that goes out, does his job, doesn't care if it's flashy or what it's supposed to be. All right. This guy's highlight reel.
Lunch pail guy. Love it.
Yeah. His highlight reel is his pass blocking. All right. This guy has offensive linemen calling him the best running back pass blocker they've ever worked with. And this guy's a rookie. And I'm talking about LaQuinta Allen Jr. from the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right. This dude picks up blocks like nobody else. He hasn't allowed a sack yet. This guy is our week 11, essentially, Leatherhead of the week.
Look out. Jacksonville Jaguars rookie offensive lineman keeping Trevor Sunshine Lawrence.
Running back, Rod. He's a running back.
Oh, he's a running back? I thought you said he was an offensive lineman.
No, I said offensive linemen are calling him the best pass blocking running back they've ever played with.
Oh, my bad. Listen, I totally just botched your stuff there. That's great. That's good stuff. You know who we need to get to sponsor Leatherheads next year, Chris, when this thing goes even more major? We need to get PFF to sponsor Leatherheads next year because they certainly do help you out with the stats for the Leatherheads.
Well, they're about the only people that really track like pass blocking, run blocking, win rates, defensive line win rates. You know, the guys that deserve the recognition. Not a lot of people keep track of these.
There we go. The guys that deserve the recognition, and that's why Chris King gives them the shout out for Leatherheads. We've gotten through all of our fun stuff for the week now. Let's get a couple picks against the spread and update our fun competitions before we talk some round ball. Williams, you picked a couple pretty good games. You avoided the Colts-Chiefs game, and that's fine. Apparently, WSBT 22 in South Bend wants to avoid the Chiefs-Colts game too, but that's a story for another time. Philly versus Chris's Cowboys. This is a wild game. The Cowboys can score a bunch of points, but their defense stinks. But I'm not sure Philly can actually score. Like Philly reminds me of do you remember George St. Pierre in the UFC where he would have these big fights, and then people that didn't know the UFC would come watch the George St. Pierre fights, and they'd be like, "This is what you got me out here for? This guy just laying on the ring, choking this guy out for 3.5 minutes. This is what's supposed to be exciting." That's what the Philadelphia Eagles offense is, Williams.
Yeah, and I've been crapping on the Cowboys defense all year, but you know what? Give me the Dallas Cowboys plus 3.5, minus 120 on ESPN Bet. Let me break this down for you. This Philly team, 7 of their 8 wins have come by 1 possession. I think the Dallas D is trending up now. Finally, you add big run stuffing Quinnen Williams to that D line. Now, their secondary still has problems, but guess what? You said it, Rod. Philly can't pass the ball, and especially Dallas is going to play a ton of zone here, and that's what you got to do versus Hurts because he's been significantly worse versus zone this season. And on Philly's O-line, Cam Jurgens is banged up, and no more Lane Johnson, who might just be the best right tackle in football. And how about this? I'm going to surprise you with this stat. Dak versus the division against the spread in his career, 31-13. This guy shows up versus the division. This is Philly's 3rd game in 13 days. I know you're going to say, Williams, you don't like the teams coming off short rest, traveling off Monday Night Football. Usually, yes, I understand this. But Dallas had a bye before that Raiders game, and one could argue they had a bye during the Raiders game. So I think they'll be geared up to go here. The percentage of bets is on Philly is 64%, but the percentage of money coming in is on Dallas here at 64%. So I think the Cowboys have found their motivation. They played extremely hard and with a purpose on Monday night for their fallen teammate. I think they found something here. I think Philly's offense is dysfunctional right now. I think Dallas has 3 ridiculously tough games in a row. They have Philly at home, they have KC, and they have at Detroit. That's 3 games in a row versus teams that won 14 games last year. That's ridiculous. I think that's the first time that's ever happened in NFL history. And I think Dallas's best chance to win one of those 3 games is this week, actually, versus their division foe, the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me Dallas plus 3.5 in Jerry's world on Sunday afternoon.
JTJ, we'll go to Chris, the Cowboys fan, for the hammer on his thoughts here. But what do you see with this Eagles team? What do you think about this game?
I think Williams hit it right on the head. All right. If we play zone, there's not going to be big plays coming from Philadelphia. And without big plays, their offense is boring, like you said, right? So I think Dallas has a chance. And listen, when it comes to the NFC East, literally anything could happen anytime any of these teams play each other. I have seen horrible Giants team beat the Eagles and the Cowboys when they had no business to it. And I've seen the Cowboys do the same thing to teams that they shouldn't have done it to. It is crazy in the NFC East. I'll still be shocked if somehow Philadelphia wins back-to-back East Division titles, but it's crazy. Go Cowboys. I don't think they'll just beat the spread. I think they'll win outright.
Jimmy, do you think anybody has cared less about a defending Super Bowl champion in a while than this Eagles team? It just seems like even the guys on the team don't even like that they're defending Super Bowl champions. It seems like their fans aren't necessarily even that excited about it. Nobody around the NFL likes them. Their games are boring. It's just weird, isn't it?
It is. There's no, even, you have Saquon Barkley, who was the heart and soul of the league last year. No one's talking about him this year. And Jalen Hurts is, a lot of people have been getting on the Jalen Hurts is boring bandwagon, and it kind of has been. His receivers don't like him very much. I know that. Yeah, it's just kind of a weird team, but their defense is still really, really good. I think it's going to be a battle here, but can the Dallas Cowboys defense do something that they've never done this year and have 2 decent games in a row? I don't think they can.
I think that's probably a fair bet by you based on Dallas's recent history. But as William said, they upgraded a little bit at the deadline. I got to kind of give props to Brian Schottenheimer here, right? We all thought this kind of could be an unmitigated disaster. Nobody gave the guy a whole lot of respect. And it seems as if he's just a pretty professional head coach and he's keeping the wheels on the track down there in Dallas. And listen, the NFL is just more exciting when the Cowboys win. All right. Sure, I love to needle Chris and give him some guff. And when he comes on here and absolutely loses his mind, it's great for content. But the NFL is a better place when the Cowboys are contending in important games. So let's go. Speaking of important,
it's called relevance.
Is that what it is, Chris? Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. Speaking of relevance, how about so relevant they're probably the best team in the NFC taking on my squad, the Fighting Bakers. Rams versus Bucks. Williams, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I made Chris happy with my last bet. I'm going to make you happy here, Rod. Give me the Bucks +7 -120 on ESPN Bet.
Fighting Bucks.
Yeah.
Trying to hold off the Panthers. They can't afford to lose this game.
They cannot. I think Baker was playing hurt before last week over the past month or so because he was not running the ball. Well, last week he got back to running 5 carries, 39 yards, scored a touchdown. The Bucs offense put up over 30 points, and Sean Tucker gives them another good rushing option here if Bucky Irvin can't go. You may say that's all fine and dandy, Williams, but they lost the game last week. I would say I understand that, but Josh Allen and Matt Stafford, even though they're both up for MVP here, they're 2 totally different quarterbacks. Josh Allen makes big explosive plays out of the pocket with his arm and his legs. Stafford, more about precision in the pocket and having outstanding chemistry in the red zone on those high point throws to Adams and Puka. The Bucs defense is still 7th in total DVOA, even after last week, 7th versus the run. If you stop the Rams running attack, you have a chance to be there at the end of the game. And also, this is kind of in the weeds here, but I thought this was interesting. The Rams have been using a bunch of heavy personnel, like 12 and 13 personnel. Sean McVay tries to trick the defense into subbing when he's using the heavy personnel, and then he throws out of that personnel. Well, the Seahawks do not sub out versus those personnel groupings. The Seahawks subbed at the lowest rate in the league, and that's who the Rams played last week. And the Seahawks had a chance really to win that game, even though Darnold threw 4 interceptions. They still had a chance to win that game with a late field goal at the end. The Bucks D subs out at the 3rd lowest rate versus heavy groupings here. So that's kind of in the weeds there, but I think that favors a similar Seattle defense like Tampa has with Todd Bowles calling the reins there. And I'll give you this. I don't think anybody has talked about this. How about Baker in LA splits? Okay. This dude loves playing in LA. Last year versus the Chargers, 81% completion percentage, 288 yards and 4 touchdowns. Baker in 22, when he playing for the Rams in LA, he was 2-0, including a 51-14 drubbing of the Denver Broncos, 2 more touchdowns, no picks there. Baker in 2021 with Cleveland, when he played the Chargers, over 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks. The offense put up over 40 points. And you have to even go back to his college days in 2016, Oklahoma, when he took Oklahoma to the Rose Bowl, yes, in LA in the national semifinal game versus number 2 Georgia, took that game into 2 overtimes, 287 yards and 2 touchdowns in that one, put up 48 points in that one. His defense has let him down 3 different times playing there, but this dude loves playing in LA. He puts up huge numbers in LA. Give me the Tampa Bay Bucks. They got to win. They got to at least give this game here. They need this one bad. Give me the Bucks +7 on Sunday Night Football.
All right, 2 quick things from me here. Please, Bucks win, please, because we cannot have the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young winning a division and playing in a playoff game. But they would definitely become the Shakey's game if the Panthers got in. Shout out to Cousin Sal and Bill Simmons.
Even though that was my long – remember the division previews, Rod? My division long shot was the Carolina Panthers to win the South.
Look at you. But
I agree with you. I would rather have Tampa. People. I would rather have Tampa.
And here's the other reason why Baker plays good in LA, right? We all have these places and times in our lives that we remember fondly, right? And so every time Baker rolls into LA, he thinks about all of those commercials that he filmed for that year and a half where Baker was on top of the world, right? He was filming all these commercials, living in the stadium, being a funny guy. Those were good days for Baker. So whenever he rolls in on the plane in LA and he sees the Hollywood sign and he's in the car and he drives by one of the sound stages where he filmed the Progressive commercials, it triggers a sense of nostalgia and good vibes in him, and he just lights people up on the football field. Chris, what do you think of my theory?
I think it's even a little bit more. I think it's this big stage. Like, he feels like when he's playing in LA, all the lights are on him, right? People aren't watching Tampa Bay versus Carolina. They're not watching Tampa Bay versus Atlanta. Those are boring games, but they'll watch Tampa Bay in LA, right? They're going to watch that game. He's going to know the lights are on him. Even in college, he was always up, played better, and the bigger the game, the better he played.
Jimmy Jam, I love going to you with the tough ones because you're always good with a quick answer on your feet. Why is Matthew Stafford the MVP of the league? Like, there's a lot of guys that are playing good football. Why is Matthew Stafford hands down the guy that's getting the award?
Because 12 weeks ago, we didn't think he was going to play at all, and we thought the Rams were screwed, and they were trying to maybe even trade him to a Minnesota or, I believe, Pittsburgh, too. So there was a lot of things going on. They didn't know if he'd ever play with his back, and he's been in, and he's been very, very good. I just don't think a lot of people, Rod, when you think of, hey, let's watch this team right now, the Rams still aren't back to that point yet. But once the lay people, like myself, are watching them more, you're going to see that he's actually very consistent. They're really, really good. So that's why he would be the MVP.
So you're essentially
27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
That's
27 touchdowns.
Not as good as Caleb Williams, but we'll take it.
Yeah, it's good. But also, I think what you're saying here is if you get an epidural in the preseason and then that actually ends up being nothing and you light the NFL on fire, you're automatically in line for the MVP. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, 100%.
All right, I think that's a fair rule to move forward. All right, let's check in on our games. As such, I'm going to avoid the survivor pool for a minute because it's not going well for me in the survivor game. It's going great for Jimmy, but it's not going well for me in the survivor. It's not going incredibly great for me in the wins league either. Williams, as he should be, is on top of the wins league with 47 big wins out of your teams last week, Williams.
Yeah, had a good week.
Then
6 wins. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, 6 wins exactly. Keep it rolling. Yeah. We're all happy for you. And then Chris and I are stuck at second and third place, 4 and 5 behind Williams. I got 42. Chris, you have 43. Do you think we'll be able to catch Williams, Chris? What do you think? Do we have a shot?
I can't expect him to keep getting 6 wins every week, but I have the Saints, so I can't do that either. So I'm probably not going to be able to catch up, Rod.
Yeah. And Jimmy, I was thinking all show how I wanted to do this, and I think the easiest way I could do it is just, and speaking of probably having a tough time catching up, there's Jimmy's number at 31. Jimmy, what do you have to say for yourself?
The Falcons, Cardinals, Commanders, Titans, and Jets were not good picks. That's what I have to say for myself. It's been a down year. I'm probably not going to get renewed, and yeah, it's not ideal. Rod, thanks for talking about that. Thank you.
Boy, that's a bad
Well,
list of teams.
It really is. It really
Shut
is.
up,
But
Chris.
you know what? You know what else is good though, Jimmy? You got 6 straight wins in the survivor pool. You've only died 3 times. I died last week going head to head with Chris, picking the Chargers. Should have followed Chris's age-old rule of don't back a West Coast team going east. I didn't listen, took on the old man, lost. I've died 4 times, so I'm officially the worst in the survivor pool. No one cares about my picks, so I'll go in a second because I actually have to look at the schedule. But Jimmy, you got 6 straight wins. Who are you going with this week?
All right, Sam Darnold did not have a good week last week. They almost won. They should have won, honestly. This week they're going against the Titans, so the Seahawks will win this week. I'm going with Seattle over Tennessee.
Seattle over Tennessee for the man who is hot. Williams, how many weeks in a row you got going right now?
Looks like 3.
All right, that's pretty good. What do you got for us?
So I am going to go with, believe it or not, the Las Vegas Raiders, because
What?
over the past 3 seasons, the Browns are the most profitable team at home, 64% against the spread. On the road, though, the least profitable, 5-17 against the spread for a 23% winning clip, failing to cover by 7 points per game. Shador had 18 dropbacks for 20 net yards. I think Max Crosby is going to go wild on Shador Sanders. I don't think it's going to go very well for him.
Oh, he is. That's not going to be pretty at all.
Yeah, rookie quarterback going up against Max Crosby and the Vegas defense. I don't mind that pick at all. Chris, what do you got for Survivor? How many in a row you got, by the way, Chris?
I got 4 in a row right now.
Look at you. Only died 3 times, 4 in a row. Currently then basically sitting second place as I see it.
Roger that. I am going to take the San Francisco 49ers. They're taking on the Carolina Panthers in San Francisco on Monday night. I think for some reason San Francisco is more dangerous the more people that are hurt on their defense. So give me San Francisco.
I like that. I like that theory. A weird theory is always okay by me. And you know what I'm doing here? I've lost 4 times. I got no streak that I'm going with right now. I'm going to try to create some mojo. All right. And I am sick and tired of hearing everybody continue to talk down the Indianapolis Colts. Oh, all of a sudden the Patriots are the best team in the AFC. Oh, the Chiefs, who are 500 right now and not even in the playoffs, they're clearly going to make it to the AFC Championship game. The Ravens, who are just now back to barely 500, and they're going to win their division. Somehow the Colts are chopped liver. No, I think the Colts are going to show everybody that the Chiefs are just not good this year. Putting a run of that many years together is just difficult anymore in the salary cap NFL. Colts are young and hungry. Daniel Jones wants to show everybody that he is not faltering. He is still good. Colts are going to roll over the Chiefs. Maybe not roll, but they're going to win.
Rod, I think that's a great, put your money where your mouth is. You've always been a Colts fan, number one team that you've had, especially this year. You were always on that Colts bandwagon.
Number one or two.
This injustice will not stand.
We can pick
Okay.
one once, Chris.
You talk, the people who were downplaying the Colts would be you. I remember you gave up on them at the beginning of the season.
Do I not count as people? Are you somehow not trying to say that I am less than human? Is that what you're doing on this podcast now?
I just want to make sure everybody knows what part and what group of people you belong to, and that was Colts haters at the beginning of the year.
Yes, listeners, that's what we learned today. You finally learned that Chris considers me less than human. I'm totally excited to talk basketball with him on the other side here with Jimmy on the fast break. Chris, stop laughing and give us your line.
Goodbye, Internet.
Welcome to the Fast Break, the fastest 15 minutes in the NBA. Hopefully, you don't get tagged for that song like we did a couple weeks ago. Gentlemen, it has been the biggest viewing opening month for the NBA in the last 15 years. As NBA fans, as the one non-NBA fan gets the hell out of here in Williams. It's kind of cool to see that people are actually watching the NBA, isn't it, Rod?
Yeah, and also, Jimmy, when I talked at the beginning of the year, I was a little worried about how you had to go from Peacock to NBC to Amazon to NBA TV to, ESPN. And so I was a little worried about that, but everybody seems to be navigating it well enough. And the product is just good, right? I mean, certainly we can talk about injuries. That's going to be a thing that we're just going to have to deal with the rest of our days as NBA fans. But we got games going down to the wire. We got double OT games. We got guys scoring 40, double nickels. I mean, just the product at the beginning of the year when so many people complain about, well, why watch the regular season? These guys only play in the playoffs. They're doing it different this year, and I got to give props to the players.
Yeah, Chris, we've seen a glut. I mean, there's so many injuries, Chris, and people are still watching because these games are really close and competitive.
Yeah, and this is going to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, all right? Because this is all about their off-season conditioning. I'm going to harp on this probably until someone proves me wrong, but I feel like they are making it easier and taking it easier on these off-season workouts and not training hard enough. And so when they get into these competitive games where you got to exert everything and then some, you are pushing your bodies further than you have even in the past, and that's when you are getting injuries, right? You got to push yourself just as hard in practice, all right? I know people who run cross country. When you run cross country and you practice, you don't run the exact distance of the cross country meet that you're going to be racing on Saturday. You're going to do double or triple that distance. So when you're on that race, it's much easier to handle and you can put more energy and run a little bit faster. You got to do the same thing in every other sport. You got to practice as hard and with as much effort as you're going to put out during the season. I think you can eliminate a lot of these injuries, or they can happen earlier in the year and they can come back and get healthy and be ready to play.
Real quick,
so you're saying these players need to take a page from Running Zach. That's what you're saying, Chris? They need to take a page from Running Zach, our guy. Shout out to Saved by the Bell.
By the way,
that's a great circle back there, Rob.
Throwing Williams under the bus there, saying he stinks. Apparently, we have a Shedeur Sanders fan and Browns fan that watches and listens to our podcast. So I think, Rod, the three words that no coach, player, or fan wants to hear is right calf strain or left calf strain, I guess. Calf strain, 2 words, Rod. I'll do this. It's not my first time, I promise. Don't want to hear the words calf strain because everyone then immediately says, oh, well, Achilles is coming next. Where is it?
Yeah, I think you're right, Jimmy. I think that phrase is the one that scares them the most, and then followed closely by Pablo Torre. Would like to talk to you. I think that's the other one.
Yeah, Pablo Torre online too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's the other one that absolutely scares NBA general managers and coaches right now. But yeah, like it's one of those things that we start doing kind of pseudoscience, right? Like we hear about a guy who's got a bit of a calf strain, and then a guy gets an injury, and automatically we're ready to rush to, well, I mean, he had a calf strain. You should have set him out, right? Okay, maybe. but we don't know. So I don't want to jump to any guy that strains his calf has to sit out for months and then it's on you if the guy hurts himself. Like, I mean, that doesn't seem fair to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a little bit with Chris here. I think that there's a little bit more training that could happen for these guys, but I'm also with the players that the ultimate answer is we've got to lessen the games because these guys run more miles, they run faster, they play harder than they used to. And so we just got to lessen the games because we're not going to lessen the in-season tournament, right? We may even make that bigger. We're not going to lessen the playoffs. You know what I mean? So we're going to expect these guys to play all of these other games. We got to cut down the regular season games.
Pace of play is really, I think, the number one factor here. And Chris, I'm going with you on this as well. I think that you have to adapt your off-season training to go with what the pace of play is going to be once the season starts. You need to go at a higher pace in the off-season to get your body ready for that. And they're just not doing that now. And Chris, I agree with you that the off-season training does have to help a lot there.
We have seen this in the past with teams with a high rate and high pace of play, right? We can go back 20 plus years. You guys remember Steve Nash and the Suns, 6 seconds shot up, right? I mean, you want to talk about pace of play. That team ran all the time. And Steve Nash was no spring chicken. They had a great team and they were good. And those guys played. They didn't have a crap ton of injuries until Stoudemire had that weird eye thing. But past that, we've seen it work in the past with this type of play. You can't tell me that they can't get through an 82 game season.
I don't think we're going to mention this team. I don't think we're going to mention this team later, guys. But I do want to say, we lit the beam a few years ago. Is it time to hold the staff? I mean, this Cobra staff thing for the Raptors, they're 9-1 over their last 10. They are second in the Eastern Conference, like everyone predicted, behind the Pistons, like everyone else predicted. Is this real, or do we have to wait our 2025 games, Rod?
I think it's real, right? Like, I think it's real. I think every year you get a collection of guys together, right? And everybody sees this collection of guys and they're kind of like, I don't know, man. Like, how are these guys going to fit together? I'm not really sure anybody's going to want to do the dirty work. You know what I mean? Like, do we have enough balls? You know what I mean? Like, these guys are a bit black holes, right? Like, Brandon Ingram's not really a ball mover. You got Quickly. He's really looking to get his shots up, and if Scotty Barnes isn't operating with the ball in his hands, like, what are we doing? So all of a sudden there's a lot of mouths that need to be fed. But if you get a guy like Darko, right, who seems to just genuinely just be that enthusiasm, that just spark plug, and it's real, right? Like, you can tell when it's real. Players wouldn't buy into it if it wasn't real. And so they start winning, right? And then winning's the ultimate elixir. If you're a guy like Brandon Ingram and your team's winning, you're going to say to you, all right, cool. Maybe I can take 4 or 5 less shots and move it a little bit here. And if you're Quickly, maybe be like, you know what? I don't have to just be an absolute black hole here. Let's buy into what Darko's saying. Let's try to play defense, because that's the other thing the Raptors are doing. And then, maybe we'll win here in this Eastern Conference, because we all thought the Cavs and Knicks were going to run away with it, and they are not. Jimmy, you said it yourselves. It's the Pistons and the Raptors that are at the top of the conference right now. So it could be anybody.
Yeah, Chris, this Eastern Conference is looking pretty good. One team that's not looking as good, though, is our Indiana Pacers. 2-13. We've heard some rumors. Is it time to talk about the T word with our Pacers, Chris? Are we going to start to tank?
Uh-oh.
You should
Get the
you
TikTok
should not
camera going.
You should not be mentioning the word tank in the Pacers. We have never tanked.
They don't
We
have
should
to.
not
They
tank.
can't win.
I'm going to tell you what, though. I watched that game last night, all right?
Okay.
And we are finally getting some healthy guys back. I know we got a couple guys we're not going to get back, but, we had Mathurin, we had McConnell back. Last night, we had glimpses of what we looked like in last year's final. We had great ball movement. We had guys playing unselfishly. Assist ratio was way up, playing tough defense. I know we were playing Charlotte.
I was going to ask who we were playing last night there, Chris, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. I know we were playing Charlotte, but hey, at the time they had 3 times as many wins as we did. Okay, so they were essentially that
Nice,
much
Chris.
better. But I was impressed last night, and if the Beard can keep playing like he did last night, we will win more games.
Okay. All right.
The
Go
beard. I mean, come
Pacers.
on. We're doing that. We're calling Jay Huff the beard when James Harden still exists and is averaging 29 points a game. I mean, like, come on.
I'm calling Jay Huff the beard. I don't care what you guys call him.
Well, I mean, but it's like calling him as the airness. You know, you don't or the king. You just there's only one
Yeah,
beard.
exactly. Yeah, you don't call him LBJ. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, Rod. Let's. Rod, guess what? I think it's going to be that time. If I can click the button, I think it's going to be that time again. So, Rod Damnation
roll it.
of the week.
We have to do something about this situation. The momentum is dying.
I don't understand no more distractions.
But I do believe we should all follow one path in life.
Hubris and ego and pride. Sorry, all that was a complete lie. Hubris, ego, pride. Only I can bring up words like that in the middle of Rod Damnation. And speaking of hubris, that one sort of plays into this week's Rod Damnation. And that goes out to, you know what? I'm going to basically throw it out to the entire Golden State Warriors team except Steph Curry. All right. I'm not going to do this with you guys all year long, playing games with one another in the media, trying to out alpha each other, trying to out backhand compliment one another, trying to secretly go onto your podcast and talk crap about your teammate. Draymond, Jimmy, no. Okay. No, I don't want to do it all year long. Draymond, you're already exhausting. I cannot have you and Jimmy Butler fighting a war of words in the press all season long because neither of you will stop. Jimmy will not stop. He's from Turnbull, Texas. He knows nothing but putting his head down, playing hard, and having fun. And talking junk is fun to Jimmy, so he'll keep talking junk in the media. Draymond lives off of talking junk because he's not really a basketball player anymore. So he has to just keep talking. He knows that his future isn't to be a talking head someday. So he has to keep the podcast going, get the subscriptions in, get the advertisers. It's exhausting. Golden State, you have a chance to be a pretty good team in the West. Steph Curry at 37 is doing some absolutely amazing things. Please do not sideline one of our last great Steph Curry seasons with your garbage. Golden State, stop it.
If they would have just got rid of Draymond after punching old boy a few years ago, a lot of these headaches wouldn't even be here. All right. You wouldn't have this guy going into the stands because he can't handle being chanted at with Angel Reese chants. All right. He left the basketball court to confront a fan about Angel Reese chants and then went off in the post game saying, I got 4 kids. Can't call me no woman. I mean, it's just insane. He needs to leave the team. They need to get rid of him. They need to move on. Because you're right, Rod. This is the worst thing that they could be doing right now.
I think it's funny that he wasn't calling you a woman. He's saying you can't shoot and all you can do is rebound. That's it. I mean, it's not hard to put that together. Anyway, Chris,
Really
is Angel Reese worse than triple single?
Angel Reese,
shoot very well. I mean,
she's not a good basketball player.
I don't want to seem like I'm participating in the snark and like the bad stuff that she catches online, but like it's really kind of a thing. She's not much of a shooter.
No.
Okay, neither is he. He's a king of the triple
he
single.
He can hit a 3 every now and again. He can hit a 3 every now and again. Like when you see him go for a 3, the form looks okay. He's just not a great shooter. Like Angel Reese, it doesn't seem like it'll ever happen. With Draymond, it's like it kind of vanished. Like he shot like 36, 37% one year. That's pretty good for an NBA 3-point shooter.
Like if you're looking at a 30,000 foot view, Chris, the comparison is fine. It's a little funny, okay? But if you really look at it, I mean, Draymond Green's a Hall of Famer. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous.
A Hall of Famer?
Draymond Green? Yes, he's a Hall of Famer.
How's he not? If the Worm's in the Hall of Fame, Draymond Green's
how's he not a Hall of Fame? No, like I don't even like him, but he's a Hall of Famer. I mean,
is Robert Horry in the Hall of Fame?
He's better than Robert Horry, and you know it, dude.
Robert Horry hit 5 shots.
Player of the year.
Big shot, Rob.
Yeah. Well, honestly, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
He never won Defensive Player of the Year. That's what you're not giving Draymond credit for. He's got a Defensive Player of the Year award. That means something. Bob Horry doesn't have that.
There's a lot of players that have won. Okay.
I don't even think Bob Horry started on those Rockets team when he was young. I think he came off the bench behind Mario Ellie. Shout out Mario Ellie. What a pull that was.
Whoa. That's digging
And-
deep.
And with that, let's go to the Kings. Hardwood. Hierarchy.
For the win.
You guys want to talk about teams fighting to be on top of this list, all right? Because you got Detroit out there winning what now, 13 in a row? Okay. Like insane.
We got to get Father Pete on. We got to get Father
do.
Pete on. I got to get on that.
Right. And if it wasn't just for the fact that Oklahoma has only lost the one game and they're like sitting at like 7 or 8 in a row, I think I can't remember now. Like Thunder is the king, but it is barely right now because the Pistons are looking legit and you don't win this many in a row without having a solid group of guys. And you're doing it during the period of time where some of your best guys are injured. All right. Cade's missed some games. So like kudos, Detroit. And then you got about 3 teams sitting here fighting to saying, hey, we're the third best team right now. All right. You can make a case for the Nuggets. You could make a case for the Raptors. All right. We talked about them a little bit already. All right. They've won a bunch in a row.
If you don't put him in this hardwood hierarchy, Darko's going to come in here and beat you with the Cobra staff.
I know, right? And that scares me a little bit. But listen, I'm
He's not going to put him in.
no, because I got to put the Rockets there.
Okay.
All right. The Rockets have won a bunch in a row right now.
Dude,
The
how good
Nuggets
is
would have been
Şengün?
there.
How good
right?
is Şengün?
Insane. Overachieving from anything that I thought he'd be able to do, right? I know he had a lot of hype coming in, but like what he's able to do now has just been fantastic. That team is
Well,
built
you want to talk
well.
about hype? Yeah, you want to talk about hype? Everybody's like, oh, KD's going to come in and be the savior for the Rockets. There's been a bunch of times where we need a basket and it goes to Şengün. You know what I mean? And like he just
Right?
dribbles down the lane, spin moves somebody, puts it right in. He's been stone cold.
Well,
Right?
but he can do that because people think KD's going to get the shot. So that's key.
I mean, that helps. It's not like KD's been a slouch. He's still getting his 25 and 5. So it's a well put together team. They are playing well, and these top teams in the West are going to make the West a little bit interesting. As weak as half of the conference is, but no, I'm going to give it to the Rockets. And Nuggets really lost it because they couldn't beat the Bulls.
The Bulls tried to let him win. They did. I watched the most of that game. They tried to let him win, but they came back and did it. All right, Chris, who's your jester?
Oh,
There's a team that
This
hasn't been the
team.
jester yet that should be the jester.
this team, dead last defensive rating. The Wizards of these worn down washouts in Washington just have been sad. All right. They haven't even played what I would maybe an above average tough schedule, but no, like listen, you're just losing everything. You can't play defense. You're barely
I had to take my pills earlier. Chris needs to take his pills now.
yeah. They're just barely out there as an NBA franchise right now. Wizards are the jester.
It's
Yeah,
only
you
funny
can't
'cause
argue
it's
with
true.
that.
Yeah.
You can't
I-
argue with that.
Let's get rid of the Wizards name, go to a different name, just rebrand everything. And I'm not even talking going the Bullets, although I love the Bullets, but
Shout out
Yeah,
to
it's
Tim
not good.
McMahon on the Hoop Collective. He used to call them the Lizards, right? Because they didn't have any W's, so they had to be the Lizards.
And with that, you've been listening to the Fast Break on the More You Knows Podcasting Network. Coming up next, it's the Yeah We Know podcast.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye, Internet.
I take my rightful place at the head of the table. Believe that.
Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Knows Podcasting Network. In the ring with Jimmy, Chris, and Rod. And I've got 3 words for you, gentlemen. Woo, woo, woo. Zack Ryder back on WWE television. I thought that was a really, really fun return for Matt Cardona, and just something that really was a special thing that happened for the John Cena tournament. John Cena and Cardona are friends in real life. They had a big storyline together back in the day with Kane. Rod, Chris didn't care about Cardona. For those of you listening, Chris just left. Rod, how cool was it that Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, made his return?
You know, it really was cool on a lot of different levels, right? Like it hits you with that nostalgia for, hey, here's Zack Ryder, right, back doing his thing. But it also was like, hey, here's a guy who's toughed it out on the indies for 4 years, right? Been the king of the indies, managed to keep his name up, win a bunch of different belts, right? He's got the pretty popular podcast, pretty well known for all the wrestling figurines and collectibles and things like that. So he's just found out so many ways to make his niche, be out there on the road. And then he got rewarded, right? The WWE brought him back, big spot, gave him a TV match, got the pops, big for Matt Cardona. And shout out to Chelsea Green, who put a tweet out where she was like, hey, this Zack Ryder guy, I wasn't very familiar with him. Wonderful that I could get to learn his work. Excellent stuff by Chelsea Green.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And it is nice to see someone go out and then make a new name for himself. And people probably really would have preferred him being Matt Cardona coming back. He was actually Matt Cardona 2 weeks ago on NXT, I think, is when he came back. And he's somebody.
I saw that match.
In the year 2025, and the Lord and Savior Ben Johnson's 2025, he has wrestled for every company and not under contract. He wrestled for AEW, he wrestled for TNA, he wrestled for WWE, GCW, and so many other independent promotions. I think it's great, and he's got a really cool interview with on the Not Sam podcast. Some people saying that he sold out because he came back as Zack Ryder. He goes, you don't understand how things work here, do you? You're definitely going to come back as Zack Ryder. You're definitely going to do whatever they want because you want to be back there full time one day.
Yeah, what's he going to do? He's going to roll in and be like, hey, guys, cool. Thank you for saying that you're going to put me in the John Cena tournament. But if I'm not Matt Cardona, I'm not doing it. Come on, that's absolutely ridiculous. Like, that's easy for somebody who's just firing out shots on the internet to say, but nobody in real life is going to do that. You know what I mean? I will admit, like you said, though, Jimmy, it is odd that, like, NXT completely under the WWE umbrella, he's Matt Cardona, and then WWE, he's, I'm with you that's a little wild. But hey, listen, we're playing fast and loose with all of it. It's cool. I like where the Cena tournament's going. I think, like Javon Evans, right? Like, I like that we gave him a spot where we're like, hey, let's do a package for him. Let's try to introduce him a little bit more. But like, did he really gain a lot from that match, though? Because I just felt like their two styles didn't meld enough that, like, I wasn't all that impressed with Javon. More often than not, I was like, oh my God, he's just going to kill himself. You know what I mean? I thought that more often than anything else.
That's a Javon Evans match, though. I mean, that's what he does. I can see where you'd rather see him against maybe a Penta or maybe even a Sami Zayn. But
or like a Ray Phoenix. That'd be awesome if he could fight Ray
Phoenix for sure. But both would have to lose, so I don't know how that would work at all.
True.
But I think it was just to get him in a spotlight match with Gunther, who's coming back, looking good, looking ready to go. I didn't mind.
Yeah, it was a good guy to feed Gunther too, for sure. I mean, like it's a good guy to feed Gunther. You know what I mean? Because it gives Gunther a dude that he can just walk through and doesn't have to have a long-term storyline with yet. And then, like you said, it gives Evans a bump. So I mean, I get it, but I don't know. They're styles to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those times where I was like, oh, there are professional wrestling styles, and certain don't mesh together too well sometimes.
So Evans loses, Zack Ryder loses, and then Dolph Ziggler returns, and that's another person that was heavily rumored to be in the tournament. Again, I love it. Just bring him back. One of the best wrestlers in the world for a few years there. He's still up there, really good in the ring, very charismatic. Had a good match with Solo Sikoa. I love the nostalgia, Rod, for that.
Listen, you know me. I talk about selling all the time. I championed AJ Styles a few weeks back when he said that there's just not enough selling that goes on these days. You want to get people selling again, you bring back Dolph Ziggler, a.k.a. Nick Nemeth, right? Or I guess Nick Nemeth, a.k.a. Dolph Ziggler, because he is an animal at selling, an absolute animal at selling. There's just something to be said for the charisma in the ring, Jimmy. Like, I get guys have to be heels sometimes and guys have to play characters where they're cooler than life, but you give me a dude who just looks happy as hell to be in that ring and fighting and giving every last thing that he has to trying to pull off moves, trying to win and selling when moves are being pulled off on him. That's professional wrestling, man. And Dolph Ziggler does it to a T. And one quick thing here before we go to Chris, who I'm happy to have back with us. Solo Sikoa is on the come up, Jimmy. He is on the come up. That guy is really, really good. I mean, he's not ever going to be like a number one babyface champion for a long time run, but he has got a career fading in and out, right? Every once in a while, getting some pops and being a funny guy and being back towards the face side, but more often than not, being the dastardly heel that runs the foundation. Because the painted face MFTs, it's working right now.
The dastardly group called My Family Tree. I love it. I just think that's really funny. I want to call them My Family Tree moving forward because I think that's great. So now that Chris is back, Chris, really want to get your input on Roman Reigns returns on Raw. Chris, how excited are you?
I mean, he, of course, is on the losing side, so I mean, he's going to be welcome to get his butt kicked like everybody else, right? I'm great, fantastic. I know a lot of wrestling fans love him, and so it's going to be something big, but really still feels like this whole thing is forced on us, right?
Of course it's forced on us. It's Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Wait, everyone couldn't believe that they were facing off for the 53rd time in the ring there, Rod.
And I also, real quick, I also thought
Chris
you guys
is pissed.
told me that heels wear white in the WWE, and now Drew's coming out in black. So what do you have to say for that? Drew's not a heel, right?
That's all over the place there, Chris. Heels wear white for sure, but they can also wear black too. I mean, you've seen all
Just
of the
no rules.
It's professional wrestling. There are no rules.
What was I supposed to talk about before Chris just went crazy there and started just championing Drew McIntyre like he always does? Like, there's an NBA podcast I listen to where one of the hosts is forced to throw into a swear jar for just bringing up the Portland Trailblazers out of nowhere. We should make Chris like throw into a change jar every time he brings up Drew McIntyre for no reason.
You were supposed to talk about how we're so excited to see Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar face off that we haven't seen 53
absolutely
times.
We're supposed to. Come on.
Why not?
Chris
Oh,
can
we've
come
seen
on here all he wants and talk down Roman Reigns all he wants, but he's wrong. He's flat wrong. Roman Reigns is one of the biggest damn stars in the WWE. He looks like $1 million when he walks down to the ring. The place pops. He can wrestle. You have to have somebody, Chris, who is a big deal, okay? And can't just show up week to week like Solo Sikoa. Love Solo Sikoa, but Solo Sikoa doesn't quite feel like Roman Reigns. You want to know why? Because Solo has to show up every week and do stupid stuff. You know who doesn't have to show up and do stupid stuff? Roman Reigns, because he's a badass and he only shows up and does cool things. I love it.
Speaking of cool things, Chris, real quick, did Zack Ryder or Dolph Ziggler do anything for you?
I enjoyed the Ziggler match a lot. That was a fun match. I caught what Rod was saying. I also love a guy who is able to make things look 10 times worse than they are, and he does that great, right? And this is probably the second time I think I've seen Ziggler wrestle. The first time was probably 2 or 3 years ago when he was just finishing up with WWE. So I really enjoyed that. I know who Matt Cardona is. All right, I'm aware of who I'm aware of who he is. This is my first time seeing him wrestle. I thought it was great. I was a little bit nervous at first about who LA was going to fight, but once he came out, I was like, okay, LA's at least moving on into whatever type of bracket this is. So,
yeah, I think it's good that LA Knight got that win. And Rod, we are right now setting up. Surprise loses, youngster loses. We are setting up for a surprise win from somebody in this tournament. So I'm kind of excited to see where that goes.
Oh, you know where that goes. The surprise win is going to be from somebody who is going to have his name said and he's going to appear. That's who the surprise win's coming from. Come on, let's go.
Okay.
We're still waiting for Joe Henry to be in this thing, right?
Well, he just got signed to NXT, so he's doing a lot of stuff in NXT, but you would think that he would probably be in here somewhere. Now, listen, I'm not going to lie. I must have missed this because I did watch Raw, but, life happens. Did they announce any matches for next week?
See, I was wondering that too, because then I thought they did on SmackDown, but I don't remember them announcing any matches from Raw. And you've said before, the bracket is shrouded in mystery. Who even knows who's going to wrestle who? I mean, it's just, we're supposed to believe that they're just pulling names out of the jar. We're supposed to believe that R-Truth's balls are in there, which, by the way, shout out to R-Truth. Gotta love that R-Truth can at least come around and give us entertaining television. So I don't know, Jimmy. Let's just cut to the brass tacks of this thing. We've seen a few people now. You've seen a few people win. Who do you think is going to come? Let's put it this way. I'm not going to put you on the spot. Who do you think is going to fight for the opportunity to be Cena's final opponent?
I mean, I think it's going to be Gunther.
That's a good call.
I want to say LA Knight, but I don't think we've seen who Gunther's going to fight. I don't think we've seen him yet.
Okay. So you think Gunther's ultimate opponent is still to be revealed to us?
Yes, I think so.
Do you care to reveal to the listeners who a couple of thoughts of who you have in your mind those might be?
I mean, do you throw Randy Orton in?
That was where I was going to go.
Because, okay, sorry if I jumped on that, but, Randy Orton and John Cena had their last match ever a few years ago, and then they had their last match ever again a couple years after that. Might as well have the last match ever, the third last match ever, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he'd win, though. I think Gunther would win.
So you think we're going to land on a scenario where Cena is fighting Gunther in his final match? Now, the other thing I wanted to ask you about, and we can bring Chris back in on this, I now wonder if John Cena will have the Intercontinental Championship when he fights somebody on Saturday night's main event in December, because we just learned that we have the rematch in Dom's hometown, San Diego, at War Games. I kind of wondered if they were just going to strip the belt off of Cena immediately. Now I'm starting to think the belt's coming off him at War Games. Chris, what do you think?
I'm kind of with you. I thought if they were going to fight at Madison Square Garden, that he would have retained it in that match, right, to set up something maybe bigger. But I think in the pay-per-view, I definitely think that now Dom's going to get it back. We know Dom is a genius in the ring. We know the types of things that he can use to his advantage. I think Dom gets the belt back at the PPE.
At the PPE?
PLE.
I love it.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, listen, I do the same thing multiple times, right?
He's in maintenance, personal protective
equipment. He's in maintenance, buddy. Yeah, he's thinking. That's why he's running over. He's got to clean up some blood spills and stuff, man. Hopefully everything's okay with that. The only thing I could think of is Cena does like to put over younger talent. I mean, that's what he wants to do. The Saturday night's main event is going to have a lot of young talent on it. By the way, shout out YouTube TV. Sometime in 2026, I'm going to get ESPN Unlimited. Let's go.
Hey.
And
I can stop paying for it then.
Yeah. So I think he's going to lose to Dom. I think so. I think you're right on that.
Dastardly. Dom's not winning this thing like with the clean.
Oh, he's not going to just give him it's not going to be a squash match. Let's just put it that way. Okay.
Yeah.
So my only caveat is Gunther does not need a win over John Cena. Brock Lesnar did not need a win over The Undertaker. He got it. So we could see that, but there could be a younger person in there. Of course, I said Randy Orton earlier, but just throwing that out there. Hey, we don't have a bracket, Rod. What am I supposed to do?
I'm starting to actually now talk myself into believing that we're going to live in a world where John Cena wins his final match, right? Like the hustle, loyalty, respect, like the good feeling. Like I kind of think we're going to be left in a world where Cena wins, walks out, everybody's happy about all of it. And for him to win, he can't have the belt. So yeah, I think he's going to lose the belt at War Games. And then I think he's going to take on somebody and he's going to beat him. That's who. And so then in that case, maybe it doesn't have to be somebody young. Maybe it can be Orton. Maybe it can be LA Knight. Maybe it'll be my guy, Joe Henry. Maybe it'll be Obafemi. Maybe it'll be Let's see here. Who is the guy that was the South African royalty for a while, and then they decided that didn't work, and Apollo Crews. Maybe it'll be Apollo
Crews. Let's go. He's not doing
Shout
anything.
out.
Why not? Yeah.
Shout out to Apollo Crews. Maybe they'll bring Braun Strowman out to eat everything from the concession stand and then actually fight in the tournament. Maybe
for a guy who's not on the roster, he's sure using that roster stuff a lot, by the way.
Yeah, he definitely is. He definitely is. But shout out to that show, right? You give me a food show where the guy actually eats everything instead of just like, bite. I'm all about it. Go ahead, Braun Strowman. Yet the 27th different show USA's tried to launch after wrestling, and they're just going to scrap it again and go back to 3 hours next year.
Speaking of LA Knight, it's his sister, right? Maxine Dupree?
Yeah, that's right.
His sister wins the Intercontinental Championship from Becky Lynch. Okay, we know how Rod feels about it. Chris, I know you've been running out back and forth. I do want to get you on as much as I can because I know you are busy, so thank you. What are your thoughts on this match and this feud, Maxine Dupree and Becky Lynch? That, of course, leads to War Games with AJ Lee coming back, which Rod fell over again. Go ahead, Chris.
Right. I am more invested in this Becky Lynch feud than I have been in her previous two feuds since she came back from her pregnancy and everything and having their kid. So
yeah,
I am real excited about this. I think we have seen Maxine grow as a wrestler over the last few years, right? And I think we can definitely see an improvement in the ring with her. I know she has a long way to go, right? But hey, give her the belt for a month before she ends up losing it. Why not?
So I think, Rod, I always say in all of these feuds and storylines, what happens next? That's where I don't know where this is going. What's happening next?
First off, for point of clarification, love Maxine Dupree. Excited that Maxine Dupree gets the chance to be Intercontinental Champion. My response has zero to do with Maxine Dupree. Love the Alpha Academy. Love the Alpha Babes. I'm not entirely sure what they're going by these days because sometimes the t-shirt does say Alpha Babes, so I'm not entirely sure if Otis, Tozawa, and her are even a faction anymore. I'm not going to get sidetracked. AJ Lee? Really? AJ Lee? It's just the fact that AJ Lee walks out that scares Becky Lynch so much that she basically urinates down her leg and just loses the match. I mean, come on. I fail to understand why just the sight of CM Punk's wife, who is 4 foot nothing, 100 and nothing, strikes fear into the heart of all of these female wrestlers. I do not get it. The person that I saw wrestle in the mixed tag team match is not a tactician, is not a high flyer, is not a hard hitter, didn't seem like somebody that would gouge your eyes out or grab a pickaxe from the crowd and then kill you, which is what you're supposed to think a wild card might do, right? I don't believe that AJ Lee's going to do any of that. So I fail to understand why I should be afraid of AJ Lee as a Becky Lynch fan. I get nostalgia. I get people that used to watch AJ Lee love her. I wasn't one of those people. So you have to make me believe her character that she's someone that strikes fear in the heart of one of the greatest female wrestlers of all time. And so far, they haven't done it, in my humble opinion.
She's 5'2", 115, by the way, Rod. So we're going to have to do a clarification on that. Yeah.
Number schmumbers.
I like Maxine Dupree, but I agree with you. At some point, I want someone to come out, their music hit, and the guys just still wrestle in the ring because they're 100 yards away. If it's a WrestleMania, they're at least 30 yards away on any other normal Raw. They can't do anything to you right away. But yeah, it's getting us to War Games, I guess, which is fine. But I don't know, Chris. What do you think?
This is bad podcasting because I really don't have a different opinion than what you just said. So I'm not going to be adding to anything because, yeah, I mean, it is what it is right now.
Not going to add to the conversation right now. So in War Games, we have AJ Lee, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Io Sky versus Becky Lynch, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Nia Jax, and Lash Legend.
Do we have Charlotte Flair? Do we?
James? Yeah, she's back. I think she's back. I think
What
I
was
thought
that
she was
then?
going to hit her. I thought she was going to turn and join.
I
the
would have
other
liked that
team.
better. Honestly, I would have liked that better than just like the fake, like, let me give a nod to realism for a second that Rhea, you and I are supposed to hate each other. Like, that's complete garbage. We haven't done that with Jey Uso for a long time. Like, I thought that was garbage. I didn't like that at all.
It was too
And
quick.
then
I mean, they
making-
hate each other, and now they're frying.
That's
That
what I
was
mean. Then
like
Alexa
5
coming out
seconds.
like, you're my best friend. Like, it didn't work. Like, you were slow playing it for so long, and like the idea that like they're not really best friends was like what was fun about it, and then they ruined it, Chris.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think they realized that, though. I think when you had that week between shows, you had her walk out. Like, I think the WWE realized that maybe they made a misstep. Maybe they were thinking about making her turn. But hopefully, for Charlotte's sake, they don't make her turn heel and turn against Alexa. 'Cause that's the best thing that's happened to her since she's been back, is being a tag team with Alexa.
So is Bailey not going to get involved then, Jimmy? Because I was kind of thinking maybe we were angling a way to get Bailey involved here. So is she not, and it's just going to still be her and Lyra doing a story?
I think so. Yeah, I don't really see that. I don't see any room for her, really.
I mean, that just
Do
she
you?
was asked by the Kabuki Warriors. You know what I mean? So I just kind of like, you know what I mean? Because do the Kabuki Warriors have their fifth? Are we supposed to believe they're taking Becky?
Yeah, they're going to take Becky for sure. They're
So
taking
Becky's
Becky.
going to be down with Asuka and Kyrie?
I
And the
think
last
so.
legend
It'll
of
Yeah.
be
Nia?
crazy. It'll be crazy Becky, though, right? It'll be the alter ego Becky.
Yeah, but even crazy Becky wants to. Okay, so here's my other problem then, Jim. So crazy Becky is going to wrestle next to Nia and have no problem with it, but Charlotte's got a problem standing next to Rhea? Like, what are we doing here?
It's professional wrestling, Rod. Yeah, exactly. It's the story we need for right now. But I agree.
Look at you. Don't professional wrestling me, Jimmy. You can do that to the old man, but don't do that to me. That's no.
Speaking of
you don't get to
professional
do that to me.
wrestling, before we leave here, we've got CM Punk, Roman Reigns, the Usos, and Cody Rhodes versus Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar, and Logan Paul. Division, if you will. Listen, I think both War Games matches are going to be pretty good. Hopefully Bronson Reed doesn't break anything. Chris.
I am
No,
all
Chris, here's what I
about.
want you to do.
Okay.
Chris, here's what I want you to do. Rank the guys on the Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre team. No, not that team. Rank the guys that you like on the other team. Who's the guy that you like the most on the other team? Is it Cody Rhodes?
Jimmy Uso
Jimmy
is the
Uso.
guy I
You
like the
knew that was
most.
coming. I knew that was
All
coming.
right, Jimmy
Who's
Uso's at
second?
the top. Who's number 2?
Probably Cody,
And then you have Jay,
Okay.
Roman, and CM Punk. You got to rank them.
and it's probably in that order: Jay, Roman, CM Punk.
Ooh, so Roman better than CM Punk. We at least know
Wow.
one person that Chris will give Roman a little respect over.
So
Yeah.
you're actually going to root for Roman Reigns when he and CM Punk have a match coming up this year sometime.
I mean, begrudgingly, probably, just like I had to technically root for somebody when I watched Phil wrestle Jay.
Okay, you have another qualm here, Chris. You absolutely despise Logan Paul, and he's wrestling
Yeah.
on the same team as your guy. How are you
Yep.
dealing with that?
Every once in a while, people who aren't very bright have a decent idea, and Logan Paul happened to have a decent idea with putting his eggs in the same basket as Paul Heyman in the Vision and my boy Drew. All right, and then you get a monstrosity like Brock Lesnar coming in.
Who
Like,
is
I mean,
who is thick, by the way.
how can you not root for this team? They're going to demolish
social
this.
clip right there. That was Chris's social clip right there, dude. You start that with Chris saying every once in a while somebody makes a smart decision. That's gold right there, Chris.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar. Interesting. He didn't do the belly to back to CM Punk, but did it to Cody Rhodes. I thought that was interesting. Maybe Punk.
Well,
has
we
some
can't have
neck
CM
issues.
Punk getting injured. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we
we
got to
really
take it
can't.
easy on Phil.
We really can't. We have Survivor Series coming up in a couple weeks. We also have to start talking about the Yeah We Know Awards coming up here in December. By that, I mean the three of us need to sit down and chat about it too before we go live coming up in a couple weeks with the Yeah We Knowies.
Yeah, but here's the one thing you need to know about the Yeah We Know is Chris's picks will be absolute garbage. Pay no attention to them. Jimmy and I will be the people that will be giving you the real Yeah We Know is. Chris will be coming in from left field, trying to be fun, trying to be different. We basically had to make a rule one year that he couldn't give Drew McIntyre the win to every category. It's just been a whole thing with Chris. And
I refused to pick a tag team one year.
You did. I forgot about that. You did. You just flat refused.
Tag team of the year. I don't care. I have nothing to add here.
But I've been looking up some stats. I've already thought about these for about a month now. I already have a couple of awarded in my head, so I'm prepared.
Look out.
Real quick, 2024. Yeah, we know he's. Wrestler of the year was Rhea Ripley. Female wrestler of the year, Liv Morgan. Male wrestler of the year, Gunther. Workhorse of the year, Kevin Owens. Biggest news of the year, Cena returns for a 1-year run. Best vignette, the Wyatt 6 kills everyone. If you remember that one, that was a good one.
That was
Chad
a good
Gable
one.
died. R.I.P.
Spot or move of the year, Dom kisses Liv. That was pretty cool. Best newcomer,
We got
Jacob. Go ahead.
I was going to say we're guaranteed to have some new winners here, Jim, because Liv Morgan's certainly not going to go back to back because she's been gone for a lot of this year, right? Kevin
KO.
Owens certainly not going to go back to back.
Jacob Fatu was best newcomer. Face of the year, and this is how we awarded it. Cody Rhodes, but it should have been Jey Uso for our awards.
That was probably me fighting for Jey Uso, and you two jokers fought
I think
for Cody Rhodes.
we weren't able to finish the podcast until we got that in there. Heel of the year, Drew McIntyre. That was definitely a 2-1 vote right there.
Yeah, Chris was not happy with that.
Rivalry of the year, Reigns and the Bloodline. Dominic Mysterio level heat. The award went to Dominic Mysterio.
I'd say he's going to be another winner of the Dominic Mysterio level heat award. Dom's going to win that one again, I think.
Most overrated of the year, the Wyatt 6. I mean, are they still champions? Tag team champions?
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
What is it with the male tag team champion belt, Jimmy? They just bury them. They give them to guys that don't even wrestle. I don't understand it.
Have one set of belts. But anyway, most underrated of the year, Sheamus. You can probably give that to him every year. Faction of the year, the Bloodline. Match of the year, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. That was amazing. PLE of the year, WrestleMania Night 2. And the tag team of the year was DIY. And with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Knows podcasting network. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Chris, and Rod.
Tables, ladders, chairs, match on SmackDown. Going to be in the running for match of the year.
Like, comment, subscribe. Goodbye, net. Yeah.